Real Madrid is by far the most successful team in Europe, and with all the money they have in the bank, it comes as no surprise that they splurge heavily on buying the best players in the world. Just take a look at Madrid's lineup on any match day and you'll see hundreds of millions of dollars worth of football skills representing Los Blancos. Now, we know clubs pay big bucks for midfielders and strikers, but for Madrid, spending a striker's budget on a goalkeeper is no big deal. Thibaut Courtois is living proof of this. After the Belgian keeper proved to the world that he's one of the best at Atletico Madrid and Chelsea, Real Madrid decided it was time to secure his services. Don't be shocked to hear this, but Madrid had to cough up a large sum of 45 million euros to get the Belgian number one in their squad. Now, this is what other big clubs would pay for a top striker, but Madrid isn't your ordinary football club, and they proved that again by spending a huge sum on another former Chelsea keeper, Kepa Arrizabalaga. The Spanish international isn't as established as Courtois when it comes to winning trophies, but he's enjoyed a good level of success with Chelsea, as he won both the Europa League and the Champions League with the London club. But after a disastrous 2022-23 season, Mauricio Pochettino, who's now in charge at Chelsea, decided to do a major overhaul of the squad. Kepa was one of those who had to go, and Madrid was more than happy to snatch him up. They didn't mind paying 18 million euros for him either, as this was a really big deal considering the fact that Kepa's form had dipped, and not too many clubs were interested in signing him. Still, Madrid's pockets are too deep to care about paying such an amount for an out-of-form keeper. Speaking of which, do you guys know who Andriy Lunin is?
Who the fuck is that guy?
I doubt you do, and that's because he's Madrid's third-choice goalkeeper who barely has any playing time. The Ukrainian international has a contract with the Spanish club that will run till 2024, and you would think that since he's so unpopular that he would have cost them peanuts. But that's far from the case, because as unknown and unused as Lunin is, Madrid still paid as much as 5 million euros to bring him to the Spanish capital. Now, no disrespect to teams like Getafe or Eibar, but that's the kind of money they spent on their best players, not on backups. One Madrid player who certainly gets a lot of playing time is Eder Militao. The Brazilian centre-back has been solid for Madrid so far, and with his contract expiring in 2025, it means there's still a lot of juice left to squeeze out of him. That juice didn't come cheap though, as Madrid coughed out a whopping 70 million euros for him, making him one of the most expensive centre-backs in the world. David Alba also falls into this category, and even though he didn't cost as much as Militao, 40 million euros is no small fee either. Thankfully, the Austrian has lived up to his billing with a string of consistent performances. Antonio Rudiger hasn't disappointed in defence either. The German international and Champions League winner with Chelsea is known for putting his heart and soul into every game, no matter how big or small the match is. His die-hard style of defence and his desire to go forward in search of goals put him on Madrid's radar. And after a series of quick negotiations, Chelsea agreed to sell arguably their best centre-back to Madrid for 32 million euros. Now, if you think Madrid were done spending on their defence, then you need to think again, because Ferland Mendy's asking price of 25 million euros wasn't nearly enough to scare them away. The French left-back's contract runs until 2025, and Madrid will be hoping that his pairing with Daniel Carvajal will keep producing results. Speaking of Carvajal, the right-back has enjoyed a lot of success with Los Blancos. These include multiple Champions League titles, World Club Cups, and La Ligas. For this reason, the 12 million euros paid for his services many years ago now looks like chicken change when compared to all the hard work he's put into the team. Trust me when I say that if Madrid wanted to purchase another version of Carvajal in 2023, it'll probably cost them close to 100 million. You don't believe me? Okay, how much do you think Aurélien Tchouameni cost? Don't be shocked, but the defensive midfielder from France was acquired for a jaw-dropping 85 million euros. But that's nothing compared to what Real Madrid paid for Federico Valverde. This man has proven to be one of the best midfielders in the world. He's calculative, tough, and knows how to spread the play exceptionally well. Let's just say he's the kind of guy you'd like to have on your team, even if it cost you as much as 100 million euros. Yeah, that's what Madrid paid for him, and they'll enjoy his services until 2027, depending on whether he chooses to extend his contract or not. Now, one player that is certainly part of Madrid's future plans is Eduardo Camavinga. The energetic midfielder has become an instant hit with the Bernabeu faithful, and with his contract running out in 2027, there's still many more years for him to serve the club. With this in mind, you would agree that his 85 million euro price tag seems just about right, especially when you consider he'll be tasked with filling the very big shoes of the legendary Toni Kroos. Now, these are no easy shoes to fill, as the German international midfielder has seen and done it all in football. There's no better word to describe Kroos's career other than exceptional, and with his contract expiring at the end of this season, it has to be rumoured that he'll be saying goodbye to Los Blancos. But what a run he had with the club, as he made every bit of his €50 million price tag count. How time flies though, because it feels like Kroos was signed by Madrid a lifetime ago, hence the €50 million fee. That number would have been way over the roof for a midfielder of Kroos's quality in 2023. Speaking of which, Luka Modric is another Real Madrid central midfielder that has been with the club since forever. The once unknown Croatian first started making waves in the English Premier League with Tottenham Hotspur, and that was when a bidding war began amongst the biggest teams in Europe. At that time, there were only a handful of central midfielders of Modric's quality in Europe, and with Barcelona boasting of Xavi and Iniesta, Real Madrid needed to match their major rivals in the creative midfield department. For this reason, the bidding war for Modric ended the moment Real Madrid showed interest. €10 million was a lot of money to pay for any player back in the days, but if Modric was going to help them smash Barcelona and dominate the Spanish La Liga, then sign that check. The legendary Croatian didn't disappoint in any way, as he helped Madrid to so many titles, including a historic 3 straight Champions League wins. He also stacked up La Ligas and Copa del Rey's, but his biggest moment was certainly when he broke the Ronaldo-Messi Ballon d'Or monopoly by winning one himself. Sadly, he'll be gone by the end of the 2023-24 season, but Madrid will say goodbye with smiles on their faces, knowing that the €10 million they paid for Luka Modric was probably the best $10 million deal they've ever struck. So, if Modric leaves Madrid, who can the club depend on to be just as creative? It appears they found the right guy, and his name is Vinicius Jr. It's true he's a left winger and not a central midfielder like Modric, but he possesses just as much ability to create chances for his teammates. His speed, dribbling and passing ability make him a great asset for any team. Now throw his knack for scoring goals into the mix and you'll understand why the Brazilian playmaker has a market value of about €150 million. So far so good for Vinicius, who has another high-value winger on his opposite side, and I'm talking about the one and only Rodrigo. The right winger has become a regular feature in the Real Madrid squad, and judging by how he keeps maturing as a player, that won't change anytime soon. And I bet you didn't know he's worth about €100 million. Well, hang in tight, because there's another young talent Real Madrid can boast of, who, as far as the beginning of the 2023-24 season is concerned, has been the club's best player. It's the Englishman Jude Bellingham, who made major headlines in the summer when he left Borussia Dortmund to join Real Madrid in what would become the biggest transfer deal of the summer. The 20-year-old midfielder has proven to be a great buy, as he dared and succeeded to match Cristiano Ronaldo's first 4-match goal-scoring record. His contract with the Spanish side will run till 2029, and it's worth a magnanimous €120 million. But what are your thoughts on Real Madrid's high-value players? Let us know in the comments below. And if you enjoyed the video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. See you in the next one.